Hello Collective, this is Tan from Artemis Oracle doing your reading for today. Let's see what comes out for the collective. What messages does the collective need to know at this time, Spirit? That's for the highest and greatest good. What messages does the collective need to know at this time? That's for the highest and greatest good. You have desperate, nurturing, longing, move on, and drama queen. I don't know, for some reason I'm getting the idea that, you know, you may be at this place where it's like you kind of reached the end of the road. You put in as much work and effort. It's been a heavy burden. It's giving me 10 of Wands energy right here. You put a lot of time, energy, and effort towards something that you've been wanting to see some type of growth with, because this is giving me the Ace of Pentacles, but it's also giving me the Ace of Wands. Something about a new beginning, somewhere where you want to see growth, where you see some type of results and prosperity, right? With a longing, it could be to do with a relationship, or it could be with something that you have been longing to do, or could be with someone you've been longing to be with, right? So it could be, we could get two stories out of this, you know. So maybe you've been putting in a lot of effort and work and trying to nurture a relationship, but it may be reaching that point where you may possibly have to move on because you took it as far as the relationship can go. And if you try to, we really don't know why it's moving on. Maybe the relationship has already passed its expiration date. Maybe the relationship has been filled with a lot of burdens and stress. It could be a job that's been filled with a lot of burdens and stress. It could even be a hobby or something that you've been trying to get off the ground for yourself, maybe with a side hustle, a small business, or business as a whole. It could just be anything that you were hoping to see growth with. It's kind of reaching that point where you've done as much as you can, and the amount of growth that you've already achieved so far is as far as it can go. So it's reaching that point where you need to move on. The key, well, the key will be to move on, right? That's the back of the card. Because I feel like if you try to push something, continue something, it's probably gonna become, it's like you're forcing something. Because you see here is a drama queen. This is like an actress, someone who is performing a role. She knows her responsibilities. She knows what she has to say, what she has to do, how she has to look, how to emote and everything. So it may be at the point where if you push past something that's already reached its limit, you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to start faking it. You're gonna have to start acting like you're happy, acting like everything goes okay, when things probably have not been okay. You know, you probably don't want to give up on a situation because it's something that you've always wanted, but then it's like now you find out it's not what I want. It's not what I thought it would be. It could be a job, it could be a person, you know. It's like you're getting the clarity and understanding that as much as you wished for something to happen, and as much as you put efforts to kind of nurture it to life, it could only grow so much, and it's already reached that limit, and it's time for you to move on and see what else is out there, you know. To don't let whatever the situation is, because depending on how the situation is, and if it has been burdensome and it has been plagued by drama, by arguments, disagreements, fights, separations, even emotional manipulation, yeah, it's like, no, it's like you have to move on. And it's like all this, because you notice there's a lot of orange and red, is fiery energy here. So there may have been some moments of anger, rage, sadness, disappointment, probably some unsettling moments that kind of shook you to the core, that kind of made you feel ungrounded and unstable. But it's like, no, you need to move on from the situation and wash away all of this. You know, you could keep the experience, but don't let the memory of this kind of taint you into where your next wave where you're heading, you know. I feel like that's what's going on here with this reading. So it's like, I can understand you want something and then you finally get it, but then you're like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. Yeah, but then it's like, well, I put a lot of effort in, so I might as well stay. I might as well just do it, you know, like, what's the harm? No, you're harming yourself. You're wasting your energy. You're wasting your time. It's also the other person's time and energy too, you know. But the thing is, if you feel like something isn't aligned with you anymore, isn't bringing you some sort of fulfillment, because yes, we're supposed to find fulfillment within ourselves, but we want to be around people and be doing things or in situations that also fulfill us, that don't take from us, don't cause us to be unstable and feel insecure, you know. So if you feel like that, then it's time for you to move on, you know. And it, depending on the circumstance, it could be as easy as you finding another job, and then once you secure one, you resign and you move on to the next your next journey. If it's a relationship where there are no family ties, no contracts like a marriage contract, or children, then you could just have that conversation, an honest, open, authentic, real conversation about what your concerns are, where you see that the relationship isn't heading, and you know what you feel like would be the best option for you, because you shouldn't force yourself to stay in a relationship that isn't working for you, you know. Maybe in the past you were naive and thinking that you could make it right, that everything will be okay, you know, you just have to go along, maybe go with the wave, but you found that if anything, you've been moving farther and farther away from you, yourself, your feelings, and honoring yourself and your feelings. And instead, you know, it's asking for you to cleanse yourself of this, rid yourself of this, start over, you know. And it's interesting that we have the move on and then spiritual bath. It's like wash, let this experience be, you know, be done with this experience. Wash it off of you, wash it off your energetic field as much as you can, you know. Try to move on in that way, you know, not only mentally or emotionally, but also energetically. Because if you were investing in something that you longed for so long, and then you finally received it, and then you're like, wow, it's not exactly what I wanted. So I feel like it's time for you to have a brand new start, have something new that does align with you, that does bring you fulfillment. But first, you have to be fulfilled within yourself, you know, you know, because if there's fulfillment where you are, with who you are, there will be fulfillment wherever you are, you know. I hope that makes sense. So that's that reading for you. I hope it resonates with you in some way. I hope it was also helpful some way, somehow. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe to Artemis Oracle. My name is Tan. I am your reader, wishing you a lovely day or evening ahead. Bye.